Stuart, I have one.
Yes.
Please, can you give a demonstration of the double respiration?
Excuse me, I don't understand the question.
About the respiration of two steps respiration. Can you do a demonstration for me?
I can go through it, yes, and
Thank
talk
you.
about how it's done, yes, no problem. It's something everybody should hear anyway. There are 7 basic chakras in a human being. One in the forehead, throat, heart, below the navel, sex, base of the spine, top of the head. And as I say over and over again, the chakra below the navel is the root, it's the core, the center of balance inside a human being. It's the real strength inside people. And meditation is just a craft. That's all it is. Meditation is not a religion. It's not a cult. It's not anything of that nature. It's just learning a craft of how to work on yourself. And the tools of the craft are the mind and the breath. And added to those tools is the need inside a human being to truly have a spiritual life. And the other addition is the will to do it. Simply having the will to do it. Because if you make a commitment to have a spiritual life, there are going to be so many tests and so many obstacles, obstructions, things that are going to come along that are going to try to rip you away from what you're trying to do. So we need to have a strong will. We use our will externally in the world to make money, to this, that, relationships with other people. Well, this is an internalization of will, which will overcome all of the obstacles that keep us from having a spiritual life. So the first step in the meditation exercise is to bring your attention, the focal point of the mind, to the chakra that's right below the navel. It's 2 fingers below the navel. And to ask very deeply for help to open, to surrender, to grow spiritually. And when you bring the mind there, the mind literally becomes a surgical instrument. It opens the very core of your being. And you're not sitting there and just thinking about doing it. You are taking the energy of mind and focusing it in the chakra below the navel. It will open like a great lotus flower. That chakra will open. The next step is to open the heart. And opening the heart is not a very complicated thing, although emotions can be extremely complicated. But opening the heart, and the way to do it is to just simply feel gratitude. We all have something in life to be grateful for. And if you feel that gratitude in the heart, it's like it almost instantaneously will open the heart chakra. And then you take a simple breath through the nostrils into the center of your chest. You hold the breath for about 10 seconds. The gratitude opens the heart. When you breathe into the heart, you're taking in life, you're taking in prana, you're taking in energy. That will expand the heart center. And you again hold the breath for about 10 seconds. You swallow a little saliva to relax your throat. That'll help the throat chakra to open. And then after about 10 seconds, it could be 12 seconds, it could be 8 seconds, you exhale a little bit of the air, you stop, you wait a few seconds, continue to exhale until you're comfortable. And then you immediately take another deep breath, and you bring all the air down to the chakra below the navel. Your mind is there, Your breath is there. Your need to grow is there. Your will to do it is there. And you're just asking yourself, please help me to open, to surrender, to grow spiritually. And again, that chakra will open like a great lotus flower. It's like the base that a Buddha sits on. You know, if you ever see statues of Buddhas, they always sit on a lotus base. That's the base, that's the core, it's the foundation. It's the strength that makes everything else possible in the chakra system. Again, you hold the breath for about 10 seconds in the chakra below the navel, and then you exhale a little bit of the air, you stop, you wait a few seconds, continue to exhale until you're comfortable. And you just breathe with your natural breathing. But throughout the entire exercise, it's really important to keep your attention below the navel. Because once the mind leaves that area, the whole system of a human being just goes right off balance. If you feel energy moving through the sexual area, you bring a piece of your attention to the base of the spine. Try to draw the energy up the spine to the top of that. And there the energy will accumulate. And eventually the crown chakra will open. And they call it the 1,000-petal lotus, the Sahasrara. And the soul of a human being connects with the soul of the universe. That marriage, understand, gives birth to energy that flows back into us. It brings with it knowledge, wisdom, joy, love, strength, foundation. In a word, a spiritual life. So it's a simple exercise. Why it differs from, well, the exercise in itself differs, but you know, it's done with the eyes open. And the reason we do it with the eyes open is very simple. We live in the world with our eyes open. Everything drags us out of ourselves. Everything we see, everything that happens in the world, it just pulls our energy out of us. But if we learn how to stay grounded inside and keep our eyes open at the same time, this will develop an incredible amount of strength in a human being, as well as the eyes being literally the gateway to the soul, you know? You can look into somebody's eyes and see their deepest being. And I work with people through the eyes and transmit Shakti through the eyes. It's not hypnotism, it's just myself, after so many years of doing this, I can channel Shakti and I can, you know, offer that Shakti to people in the class. It enters them through the eyes. Also important in the class not to move, because any kind of little or inorganic movement, it not only disrupts the class, it just, you know, yourself, but it disrupts the class for everybody else. So the discipline of sitting still is really important. And then the breathing, you do the breathing not all the time. You do it when you need to do it. So if you really are centered inside, the heart is open, the mind is quiet, the energy, the Shakti will come into you. It'll do an incredible job of helping you to open. But if you start thinking and daydreaming and going off, you just bring your attention down to the navel, and that's when you do that breathing again. It's a very simple exercise that my teacher, Rudy, devised. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's just brilliant. It's really one of those brilliant things I've ever come across in my life, because it really forces us, you know, to work with the entire inner self. You know, in order for this exercise to work, the heart has to be open, the throat has to be open, the mind has to be quiet. We have to be grounded and centered below the navel. We have to draw energy through the sexual chakra, you know, and that allows this to work. So the whole inner life. It's a holistic approach. It's a big word in our modern world, holistic. It's a holistic approach, to the development of a spiritual life. I mean, is that clear? I hope that's clear.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? Okay. I mean, Rudy studied when he was young Buddhism and Hinduism. A lot of this is, has to do with Gurdjieff also, because he did study Gurdjieff for a while in his life. But the exercise is a combined, thing that he brought together that really has to do with the most ancient forms of Hindu meditation and Buddhist meditation practice. The work ethic is Gurdjieff. You have to work on yourself. You have to work on yourself every day. But, the rest of it is, it's the most ancient. This meditation, it probably goes back 500,000 years, hundreds of thousands of years. And if you do it in depth, you can draw upon that kind of energy that is ancient, that is primitive, that was being taught and people were doing in the world when, there was no problem of whether God existed or God didn't exist.
What is Gurdjieff?
Gurdjieff was a Russian teacher who lived, I guess, around the turn of the 20th century or on into the 20th century, who had many disciples all over the world. And when Rudy was younger, he used to go to a group in New York City that studied Gurdjieff. I mean, there are a lot of famous people that have done it. That guy Brooks, who's a director, he really was a serious Gurdjieff follower. And other people who have done Gurdjieff work, many of them I don't remember who they are anymore. He wrote a book called Meetings with Remarkable Men. What I like most about that book is that none of the people in the book were, great politicians and great, writers. They were all just ordinary people, and I really enjoyed that about the book. Or at least that's how I remember. I must have read that book 30 years ago, a long time ago, maybe more. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question.
Yes.
Related to the open eye meditation, there are kriyas or spontaneous movements. What exactly is going on with that?
What exactly is going on? Well, look, the kriyas are all about energy hitting blocks in the chakra system and going through those blocks and creating that movement. That's what the kriyas are about. When the neck swivels, it's the energy hitting the throat chakra and really breaking through the blocks there. People bring their shoulders back. It's the energy hitting the heart chakra. Their hands might go up in the air. That's the energy hitting the heart chakra. And it breaks through, the blocks there, and it creates sometimes that kind of movement. Doesn't have to. You understand, if you don't have kriyas, it doesn't mean you're behind anybody in your development. Maybe you're ahead of people in your development, that you don't have all those blocks inside yourself. So I wouldn't even worry about it. It's just, you know, it's just energy moving in the body. You know, my hands sometimes open and it's just energy going there, and it becomes mudra, you know, different hand positions that open up different areas of the cosmos. So I wouldn't worry about that. People go through that. A lot of it is, I hate to say, it's just a lot of crap, you know, that people do. But they do it, and, you know, it happens to them, and hopefully it helps them to grow and helps them in their life. And I'm not here to judge what works for people. But I know the stillness inside is really the key to connecting with God. If you have to go through all the kriyas, okay, but ultimately it's to get to that stillness inside, which enables one to connect with higher energy in the universe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be a class on Wednesday evening. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Again, I'm sure you're getting tired of Stuart telling you how grateful he is for your presence here and this work that we do together. And I, you know, look, as I started the class, every meditation is a step closer to attaining one's spiritual enlightenment. And how can I not feel anything but gratitude for all of you being here, for participating in this, and helping me in my life, you know, get a step closer to a oneness with God, a oneness with higher energy in the universe. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, you know, on Wednesday.
Thank you, Stuart. God bless you.
Thank you for the breathing technique. Thank you.
That was fabulous. Thank you.
And yeah.
Well, you know, it's being recorded, and if you want to go over it, Jennifer is recording all these things now, and it's going to be on Facebook or YouTube or somewhere like that, and it'll be available. You know, if you ever have any questions, it's right there. The breathing technique is out in the public.
Fabulous.
Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Stuart.